is an avid gardener and food security advocate. His past experience includes being president of the Nanaimo Community Garden Society, farm director with the Farm at Cedarwood Society, and instructor of carpentry, green building, and renewable energy programs at VIU and North Island College. So he's here to speak to us today about his experience as project manager at the CMHA Healthy Harvest Farm in Port Alberni. So thanks very much. Welcome.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, so I just wanted to talk a bit about my past because I just want people to understand is that, you know, I don't have any formal training in gardening and I don't have any formal training in farming and or food literacy, but I'm compelled to do something throughout my life to try to make things better in my community. So I got involved with the Community Garden Society several years ago, and while I was there, we developed a social enterprise based on plant sales, and that's been a pretty successful model. It's been going steady since I've been there. It's always good to see some successes and things that I've worked on. And the Nanaimo Community Gardens has been around for quite a while, so it's a well-established organization, and if you ever have a chance to see it, it's right on Pine Street in Nanaimo. It's worthwhile to see. It's a beautiful spot. Then I moved from there and got an opportunity to work at the Farm at Cedar Woods. The Farm at Cedar Woods was a neat enterprise that was funded by a philanthropist, a millionaire. And you can see a couple of YouTube videos on the farm. Unfortunately, the farm shut down just this year. And the reasons being because they just couldn't make it work. The location was a little bit remote for people to get there, but it was an interesting part of my life, and it was hard to see something like that fold up, but sometimes things happen for a reason. Then I had an opportunity to move to Port Alberni and work at North Island College to teach carpentry, and then while I was there, I made a proposal to the college to work, to develop a program to work with people with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder and to train them how to be construction laborers. So you kind of see a theme here is that from going from each organization, I was always working with people with mental challenges, and I believe that we could probably take these people and teach them how to grow food or how to teach them basic skills so they can get employment. So I've been developing programs like that for several years. So in other words, anybody could do this. You know, you don't have to have any kind of special background. So now I work for the CMHA as a project manager. The CMHA is a clubhouse that people from the community get involved with their programs there. And the clubhouse has a lunch program. So the focus there is to engage some of our members to work at the clubhouse and help cook the food. So in a sense, they're learning how to cook food, right? And another program we have there is the Frozen Meals Food Literacy Program, where we actually cook meals that are frozen meals that go to our members. So 35 frozen meals are made for our members, and it's a very affordable, $32.50 per month, and that's pretty good, 3 frozen meals per week. And through the process, they help make these meals, so they're getting some skills training, and this leads to actually placement in the community, within restaurants and food kitchens to help or volunteer. Myself, what I am is project manager for the Healthy Harvest horticultural program. So we manage a farm, and the idea there is to try to create social enterprise. So we teach sustainable farm skills, our market gardening skills, and the participants get good training that. I guess what you call it, it's not so much training, but job experience. They get work experience on the farm. And we produce food for sale at our various outlets. So to describe the farm a bit here, we have 8 acres of land. It is in a floodplain, So the land gets flooded in the springtime, which is a very good thing for the soil. It replenishes the soil, but it can be challenging for crops, of course. Land is leased from the Hapachasset First Nations. We're very happy to have a long-term lease with them, and they're very supportive of what we do. Our lease agreement states that we have to use organic methods, and we have to try to incorporate some of their values into what we do. There's a large pond there that we use for our irrigation system, so water's not a problem. The irrigation systems that have been put in place years ago. The Hapachasset used to actually farm there for several years, but unfortunately their funding ran out and they made a decision to shut it down. But that made an opportunity for some other community members to get in there and start working. We have a farm gate market that it's right across from the Co-op gas station on Beaver Creek. So the location's really good. It's actually really good for our clients to get out there, and for transportation they can take a bus and get to the farm easily. So it's not so remote like the problems with other projects I worked on. We have a large market garden. So right now I would say we only have an acre in cultivation. So we have lots of room to expand. We have a 124-foot greenhouse shown in the picture there, and a tool shed. So that's basically infrastructure that we have. So what we do is, I call it horticultural therapy, but we don't really administer therapy. We provide a space, a healing space for people to get engaged in growing food. So they get in touch with nature, and this is really important. There's been a lot of scientific studies on this, that being in the proximity of plants will actually help heal you and help you with your mental problems. It's a relaxing environment, and it's an environment of social inclusion. So a lot of people with mental illness and have problems being more recluse, not being, having fear of being out in community, and I really see that a lot in our group here. It's a safe environment. We use the organic methods, so there's no chemicals used, and we try to foster respect and support, which is can be challenging because people have their differences, and so we have to try to keep that in control. There's lots of good physical activity. A lot of people with mental challenges spend a lot of time watching TV and sitting alone at home, and they don't get a lot of physical activity. So this has been very good for them. So if self-empowerment is where you learn skills, you learn how to grow your own food, and you're learning to rely on your own self to provide for yourself. And responsibility. So you have a responsibility of taking care of plants. If you don't water the plants, they die. Or if you don't feed an animal, it's going to die. So the responsibilities are there, and that's good for them. And structure, a structured work time. So they know what time they have to be there, and what time they're going to get off, what time coffee break is, and stuff like that. So the challenges and barriers, I guess this is a list of things I suppose. I don't like to categorize people in different problems, but I look at everybody as equal, basically. I don't see the disability, I just see the person. But these are challenges, and most of these people face multiple challenges. Okay? So they may have issues with mental illness, but anxiety and all these other things come into play. And so these are all people that I've worked with have these different types of problems, so they might have multiple problems. And each one of these categories of people, I would say, are different, completely different. They're like, if you're working with people with brain injury, they won't be wanting to work with people with developmental delays. They'll actually say, I'm not like that. And they'll feel offended if you categorize them with it, or being associated with it. And that's another thing, is that when in society we tend to outcast these people. We don't even think about them, and so we don't see them. kind of like invisible to society. And severe poverty is a big issue right across the board. For all the programs that I've worked for at North Island College and community gardens, you see that these people that are in these programs have severe poverty problems. And environmental sensitivity, I should say that too. We see a lot of people that have a lot of challenges with chemical in the environment. So working on an organic farm is the perfect place for them. So all the programs I've worked on and developing are to create employment and get people skilled in getting work. At the farm, and or those programs we have at the CMHA, our participants or members earn honorariums. Now, I would like to see that turn into a living wage. Right now, they're getting a flat rate for working certain amount of hours. And what needs to happen is we have to move into paying a living wage for these people so that they can survive on it. Now, most of these people are on disability allowance and they can only make a certain amount, but it would be nice if that they could eventually get off disability allowance because it's another dependency in your system. So they get valuable work experience. So I wouldn't call ourselves a training program right now. I would call it a work experience program. And that work experience can give them that knowledge and so that they can find work outside the farm. And they have done that. Now, there is a severe shortage of workers out there on farms. So there's lots of opportunities. But also, the farmers are also saying that there's not a lot of money to pay people. So the wages are not high. And it's pretty hard to survive off of what you can make as a farmer. So when you work for a farmer, it's more likely that you're going to work on piecework. So you pick so many pounds of blueberries and you get paid at the end of the day for what you pick. And believe you me, if you've ever done that, it's not a lot. And you got to work pretty hard and you got to be pretty fast. So some of these folks here, especially the people with development challenges, will find it pretty frustrating at the end of the day is that, oh, I worked all and I only got one basket and I'm getting $5 for this. And that was all day. And so they just give up. It's too much for them. Unfortunately. And there's contract work also. But that's the way it is now. We don't see hourly wages too much in the farm industry. If you do, you really have to work extremely hard and fast. And there's opportunities for self-employed, to be self-employed as a market gardener. So hopefully we'll see that in the future as that more people will get into growing food. So at the farm, we practice eco-farming methods and market gardening skills. So just from doing, they learn. And a lot of these people like to learn using their hands. They don't like the classroom environment, and they probably find that pretty frustrating. That said, 5 of our members are just currently registered in the landscape horticulture program at North Island College in Port Alberni. So we encourage them to try to do that. Now that's a really big step, and I don't know if it's how successful it's going to be, quite honestly, because a 7.5-hour day is going to be very, very challenging for them. And what my job is to support them as much as possible. And North Island College does offer a lot of support to their students. I know that from experience. They have excellent support for tutoring and counseling, and it works out pretty good. Hopefully it will for these guys. And through our programs, our kitchen programs, and through the farm, people are learning about nutrition. They're learning about the vegetables, and they're learning how to cook the vegetables, and they're learning a little bit about preserving food. I would like to see more of that in the future, and seeing some more social enterprise around those areas. Right now, they're just providing for themselves and their members, but there's so much opportunity that if you look at the Clermont Society in Duncan, they got like a kitchen there that they would blow your mind. And these guys are all with developmental challenges and lots of challenges, but you go in there and all got big smiling faces, and they're cooking like meat pies like crazy. So here's our greenhouse. So like I was saying before, some of our volunteers and members working in the greenhouse. In the greenhouse, we grow green peppers, tomatoes, cucumbers, and eggplants. And that was the last year. So right now, we've moved from that. And we have a market garden. And market garden, we have everything else. We have cabbages, we have beans, we have currants, garlic, and leeks, and everything else. We have like over 40 different crops. So that's some examples of some of the products that we've grown over the last year. Very high quality, very nutritious, dense food, and yeah, delicious. Delicious to taste. That's what's exciting. A lot of people, when they taste the food, they pull out a carrot out of the ground and wash it, or hopefully they wash it, and we'll eat one of these rainbow carrots, and they say, wow, the red ones taste better than the yellow ones or something, you know? But it's about connecting people with food, and that's really important. When you learn how to grow your own food, and you've got that pride of growing something, and then you taste it, and you think, oh, this is better than anything I've ever bought in a grocery store. Well, there's a connection there, right? It's pretty hard to duplicate any other way. We go in our supermarkets and we see all this food, and we take a tomato home, and it tastes, well, this doesn't taste very good. It tastes like cardboard, right? But when you taste a tomato that we've grown ourselves, big difference, eh? Big difference. So we're also doing an Elliott Coleman style of gardening. We're moving into winter harvesting, so four-season type gardening. So we're growing a lot of brassicas, like the tails and the chards, and lettuces and the bok choy, and baby bok choy, and cilantro. I call them bulletproof. They're very tolerant to poor water conditions or temperature changes and pH. Not that I'm giving them a hard time. I'm trying to get them.
They like pollution, huh?
Yeah, that's right. They'll live in pretty terrible conditions. But they're tough. Let's just say that, okay? And from that pool, the water just drains into gravity through these grow beds here. This was what it would look like in 3 weeks later. It looks like this. So you can see how fast it grows. So if you can set yourself up with this, you can grow, this is 300 heads of lettuce in these beds here. So every 6 weeks, or actually every 3 weeks, you start your seedlings and then put them in. So 3 weeks growth, you rotate your crops, and basically it just keeps on going for the whole growing season. So you can grow an extraordinary amount of food in a very small space. You don't need any soil. You can do this anywhere in the world. It can be done inside, it can be done outside, right? And the greenhouse is good. Lettuce wants to be cooler, so that's why it's outside. And we run the system on photovoltaics because we have not a lot of power there on the farm. We have extension cords up in the greenhouse. And then from those ponds, those beds, the water drains into a sump and then into these other grow beds, the media grow bed. And I don't want to get too technical, but what we've got is basil in there. It's about 8 pounds of basil at $10 a pound. So, you know, it makes the same thing about 3 weeks later. That's what it looked like, and that's what it looks like after 3 weeks. So you can see the amount of growth there. And this was a sweet basil. You can see my hand there, but I have pictures of Genovese type basil that's the size of my hand, right? And the plants are 3 feet high. And the purple basil on the other bed there. So it's a basil growing machine. So basil is an excellent cash crop for farming. High in demand from restaurants. So if you want to make some good money, this is the way to do it. And all our produce over the last year, we used to go to the farmer's market. And we found that our members didn't like that. Remember I was telling you about the social inclusion thing. Well, they're scared about farmers markets, and they don't like that. They don't like to be out there in the public. It's really challenging for them, and they express that. So luckily, we found a solution. There's a local enterprise that started, and what they do is we harvest our vegetables, we put it in our farm gate market, and they bring a truck and they pick it up, and they take those vegetables and put them in boxes, and those boxes are delivered to their clients. So we don't have to sell our produce. We don't have to market our produce. So all we have to do is we focus on growing food and wellness on the farm. So we don't have to worry about all those other stressful things. And over the last year, we just, that's my first year there. So we're up to 30 boxes. So that's 30 families on a weekly basis. That's good money. So we're selling it for $20 a box. That's pretty cheap too for what we're getting. The feedback we're getting from people is that they're just amazed at the produce, the quality of the produce, and the quantity they're getting. And also, with our local markets has agreements with other suppliers, egg producers and bread producers, bakers in Parksville. So they're getting all this beautiful produce and other products like jams and meats and everything in their basket. So they go online and they say what they want, they can pick what they want, and they get what they want. So it's a little bit different than CSA type model where you get a box and this is what you get.
Do you deliver like just locally to Port, or do you travel?
Yeah, they're actually going all the way to Nanaimo.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And so depending, because the lady who runs this also works for Vancouver Island Grains.
Yeah.
So they have a distribution to all the other stores, health food stores.
Yeah.
So when they go there, they can bring our products there.
The people that work in this operation that you have all eat the product?
It's a good question because like I was saying about time, a lot of the guys are so tired at the end of the day is that, they'll go to McDonald's and have a burger or whatever, right? And yes, we encourage them to eat the stuff. We give them the produce, whatever they want, they can take, And we don't think that as like it's a pest or whatever, eating our produce or whatever. It's about them. It's about their nutrition and their health. So we encourage them to take a cucumber or whatever, a cabbage, and cook it up. But a lot of them don't know how to even prepare it. That's a problem.
So you wouldn't.
So we have cooking programs and other programs they can get involved with so they can learn how to cook programs.
Have you guys come up across, I know in Langois there's this issue with clients on disability working on the farm, doing farm training, taking home produce and being banned on their disability because of receiving food in lieu of money, like considered actual value of that.
Wow.
It's been coming up,
That's
if you haven't experienced that yet, maybe that's a little bit of a heads up that has been an issue.
Why would they do that?
Well, a client going into their worker and saying, I get to go to this farm and I get to bring home a bag of potatoes and carrots, and then that's value. So they looked at that as though it's money and wanting to deduct from their socialist or from their disability claim.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I think that's at the discretion of people. It's probably, that's a very strange.
Well, you don't want to encourage your clients to lie or to not say
No,
anything.
but
this
is
is
it a
such a
lie?
valuable program. We're so supportive.
Yeah, if you have your own garden and you're growing your own food, I would say, cheapers.
Yeah, but I guess because it's in exchange for time, they consider that work.
That's
It's not just
2 minutes. I got 2 minutes. Anyways, the future for us, this last screen. The future is bright. And so we're planning to expand our operation. So we have 8 acres, and we're going to expand our market garden. We're going to expand our greenhouses so that we can supply 80 boxes a week. So that's a lot of money, right? And so that should be able to sustain our programs and afford us to pay the living wage that we want to give our clients, our members, I should say. And by doing that, we're also looking at the Culinary Guild in the West Coast as an opportunity where I'm organizing a farm to chef forum so that we can connect with that market on the West Coast, because that's
you connect with the Eat West Coast.
Yes, right.
Group that I'm part of, yeah.
Yes, the Eat West Coast group and the Culinary Guild, Bobby Lax's group. And so the reason being that is that they pay top dollar for the produce. A lot of the
But it's
restaurants.
not going to trickle down to people who have, I'm very familiar with the culinary here. It's
Yes.
awesome, but we're not going to, people in our communities in the outlying rural remote
Yeah.
communities, we're not going to be able to access it.
Absolutely. And
But
that's,
in West Coast,
Yeah.
we can totally access it there.
yeah, good point. And that is Marcy DeWitt from the Collective Advisory Trust is going to work with us to try to bring people from the communities, the First Nations communities, and we would like to see people like our local markets starting their own sort of like what do you call food brokerage for communities, so that they can connect with the local farm produced vegetables and meats and everything. And we're going to expand our aquaponics system. So the greenhouse is going to get expanded quite substantially. So we'll grow lettuce and strawberries and basil in our aquaponics systems.
So who funds all this?
Good question. We get some funding from VIA, Vancouver Island Health Authority, and some from the Port Alberni branch of the Mental Health Association. And that's it. Now, we do bring in revenues from our sales, and we're hopefully seeing that will happen more, because we're seeing more and more cuts from government, and we can't rely on government anymore. We have to create social enterprise, and that's really the future for us.
You obviously operate the greenhouses year-round. How do you keep them?
We don't. Yeah, we're working with methods that developed by Ellen Coleman, where we use row covers, and we have a greenhouse, and then low tunnels on top of the crops, and row covers and plastic on the crops inside the greenhouse. The crops are, right now, they're slowing down and growing. We're still getting a little bit of growth, and then for probably a couple months get no growth. But we're still harvesting, right? It's still fresh in the ground, so we can pick the kales, we can pick the chards, the lettuce that we've got, nice head lettuce going, and the carrots in the ground, things like that, so that we can sell still through the winter. And so this is our first year doing that. And we've tried it in the past, but this is we're really working at it a little more intensely.
But no cucumbers, no peppers?
No. Now, with aquaponic systems, you could do that. Like, it would have to be an indoor operation, and you would have to use grow lights, because there's not enough light in the cold to have that. And we certainly would look for, if we had a facility that could do that, I would love to do that. So we're going to expand our market garden to about 4 times its size. And we're looking at giving an acre of the land. In our agreement with the Hupachasset is to provide some space for a market, for community gardens. So we'll inviting the community to come to the farm and grow food. And we're looking at doing some plant sales, like seedling sales in the spring. And through the winter, I'll probably sell some of our produce at the farmer's market. We have an indoor market now in Port Alberni. And it gives some of our students that are going to school right now something to do on the weekend and earn a little bit of money. And hopefully do some workshops on aquaponics and soil block making and tours. That's it.